So welcome everyone, my name is Csaba Fitzl. I'm working as a red teamer for the past 1.5 years in a big company called ExxonMobil. I used to be a blue teamer for 5 years before that. I also maintain, well, not these days too much, but I used to maintain a kernel exploitation Python toolkit for Windows called X. I'm married, I have 2 kids. I have a cold for 2 weeks now because of my kids going to kindergarten. I love hiking and I also do yoga. So what I will talk about.
Louder.
Louder, okay. I'm just coming closer to the mic. So I will just talk about briefly how I started my research and how we can subvert the installation process. Then about how we can develop an application for the AppStore. Then I will show the privilege escalation for High Sierra. I will talk about how we can modify package installers. And I will also show another, essentially almost the same privilege escalation, but for Mojave. So I started to do some dylib hijacking research for an application, and I didn't find any in that one, but I found quite a few in other applications. I will not talk about dylib hijacking. You can watch Patrick's talk on YouTube about that. But there are still plenty of cases today, so he made awesome tools to find these bugs and exploit these bugs pretty easily. So there are plenty of cases, but I ran into a problem with them. I call them the root problem, because whenever I wanted to get the dylib to the application folder, the application itself is owned by root the folder. So as a normal, like even if you're an admin user, you cannot just move their files. You have to elevate your privileges. You get a password prompt, you need to type it, and it was like, if I need to get root to drop the dylib file to the folder, then it's not that cool. And actually, this aligned with the vendor instances. Like Microsoft said that they don't consider this as a security bug. If you have to be root to do that, you can already do whatever you want, basically. Avira said that they will actually fix it, but it's low priority. And I kind of agree, not 100%, but at least I understand why they are telling that. And it really annoyed me, and I wanted to have a way to bypass it. So, but let's talk about the privilege problem. So there are 2 main scenarios you have if you look through the application folder. Some of them are owned by root, and some of them are owned by the user. We are talking about an admin user. Now, how do we get there? If you are installing an application from the AppStore, the entire application will be owned by root. If you are installing an application from a package, most of the time, it will require elevation and it will be owned by root again. Probably the only case when it's owned by the user is when you drag and drop an application to that folder. Like you download the BMG file with the application package, you drag and drop, and in that case, it's owned by the user and you can drop their files. But that's not that frequent. So how can we bypass it? So again, it's really annoying me that I have to be root. So first case for the AppStore install applications. So you can explore the folder structure. You need to know where you want to drop your files. Then you delete the application. So if you go to Launchpad, you can delete any AppStore installed application without deleting it, without any elevation, even if it's owned by you. So you don't need an elevation there. Then you, as a user, as an admin user, you have the rights to write to the applications folder, and you can recreate the folder structure. Like you can create an app folder and whatever you want inside it. Then you go and reinstall that application. Now, if you already own that application, there is no password prompt or anything. You can just install it, again, without elevation. And that's it, basically. Your folders or files are still there, and basically the application is copied over what's there. And also, the folder permission for the applications remain intact, so it's still owned by you. And after it, you can do whatever modification you want. So that basically what does the AppStore application. But I also discovered that if you drop symlinks in that application folder, they will be followed by the installer. Now, the installer is running as root. Obviously, it will follow symlinks. So basically, you can drop any files from the App Store to almost any location you want. I'm saying almost because if you have like zip, you cannot write everywhere, even if you are root. But basically, almost anywhere you can drop any file. So how you do that? Again, you report the folders, you delete the application as a user, you recreate the folders, you create a symlink wherever you want to drop your files. You reinstall the application, and that's it. You can redirect like the content of a folder. You cannot redirect single files from the application. You can only redirect an entire folder only. So at this time, so I'm not doing too much macOS research. I'm not developing macOS apps, nothing. But so I had some ideas how to do privilege escalations. Like, let's say you have an application running as root upon boot. You find another application in the App Store with the same name. You override that file. You can potentially get root. Maybe if you find a file called root, which is a cron job file, you can place it in the USRB cron tabs folder where the cron job files are stored. And if it's named as root, then by the cron job task, it will be executed as root. You can write a malicious dylib and drop it somewhere. And if there are no such files in the App Store, potentially you can create your own. Now, again, I think it's unlikely to find such a file. The closest I get was cron job files, like Xcode had a bunch of those, but they are not named as root, and they didn't have a root content for me, so it doesn't really work. And I was like, let's say lazy. I'm not a developer. I didn't know how to create these apps, so I just thought, okay, I will send the report to Apple that theoretically there is a privilege escalation in the process, don't fix it. And they came back that their vetting process will find any malicious application. And I felt that we have like a miscommunication at that point, because it's not the application that is malicious, it's the way you abuse the application. So I take a deep breath, multiple ones, and yeah, I decided I will actually go and create an application. So how did I do that? So in order to push an application to the App Store, like it has to do something. You cannot just drop an empty Windows there and get it approved. So like it had to be meaningful. So I came up with the idea of creating a cron tab editor, because that would also legitimize for me why I have like cron job files in that application. I purchased the developer ID, luckily my boss sponsored that. And when it came to language, again, I don't know C, I don't know Objective-C, but that syntax over there like freaked me out. I think even this day I not fully understand how you call the function of objects. So I decided I will go to Swift, Then I realized that there is script 1, 2, 3, 4. So you need to pick up the right CVT because the syntax is changing over time. But essentially, I went through a 4-hour course, and that was enough. It's like that taught me enough about how to create like a simple GUI application. Pushing apps to the source, actually that's pretty simple. You create a bundle ID, that's like the mycompany.application name or something in the AppStore Connect. You create an app in the AppStore Connect, populate some details, you give the same details for your application and Xcode, and just upload it from Xcode. This is super easy, actually. So, but then, so I started to do the application, and I was ready. And then you have this time issue if you do mistakes, because an app review costs you like about a day, between half day to 3 days. I was lucky with probably an average of 8 hours. But if you do a mistake, you have to wait a lot to fix that. So I did my first push, waited a day, and it got rejected. And they said there is no proper closing for the application. So if you press the X button, the application didn't quit. Now that's a one-line fix. I push it again. Again, you wait one day when you're super nervous that if it's working. And eventually it gets approved. And then I realized that it doesn't work on Mojave. Because when I started this entire research, I was still on High Sierra, but by the time I pushed the application and everything, I was already in Mojave and it didn't work. And I was super sad, but okay, I have a High Sierra VM, I can do it there. And then when I tried to install the application on High Sierra, I got the minimum OS requirement is Mojave. Oh God. So going back to Xcode, and it's like a setting in Xcode, what's the minimum OS you need. And after a day, it got approved and it worked on High Sierra. This is the application. Actually, people are using it. And it turned out to be useful. There are other cron job creators in the App Store, but they are all paid. This is free. So how the privilege escalation is working. So this application has examples because we need to show examples to the users. And it has an example for root as well. And it will execute a script from the applications folder. Obviously, it's not there by default. And so you create the application folder and you redirect the resources folder where all the examples are stored to the cron job folder. You install the application, you create the script file, again you have write access to the application folder, and you get root. So the fix, I will talk about more later, but my POC stopped working on Mojave, and I never really did proper verification that time how they fixed it, and I just assumed, yeah, they actually nailed it. I was wrong, but let's see how it works. So, I will forward some. So we go to the App Store. So actually, when you buy a free application from the App Store, you have to authenticate, but with your Apple ID, unless you click on the settings that save my Apple ID password for free applications. So we can see that the cron job creator is not installed, and we are running as the user, again as admin user. So we create the application folder, we create the contents folder, and then we create a symlink for the resources folder in the application pointing to the cron job folder. And just to show that the cron job folder is empty, actually you need to have root rights to list the contents of that folder, so that's why I'm using sudo view, but you can see it's empty. Then we go and install the application. And if we list again the contents of that folder, we can see that it's a whole lot of files. These are all examples coming from the application, and I just gave them any names, but there is one that's called that's what is interesting for us. And just to list the contents of the root file, that's again execute every minute the application scripts backup apps share script. So what we can do is go to the application folder, script folder, and I just put like execute terminal into that script, and so it will be very simple, but you can really put there anything you want. And you also need to give it executable rights. So it's created, and now we can check the clock. So again, the cron job is executed every minute. So whenever the clock is switching to 17, it will kick off the script. And it should happen in a few seconds. But always need time to drink. So it's 17, and you got your terminal, and it's true. So, and then there is like a sort of, it's not really a bypass, and it's not that cool when you need to infect an installer, because that's another case when the application is owned by root. It's not really a bypass because the user will have to authenticate and install the package. And if you mess around with the package, you will break the signature of it. You can resign it if you have a certificate. But if you don't sign it, then gatekeeper will block it. You need to have a way to infect the package file, so you need to either deliver it to the user or do a man in the middle or something. And it will actually also break the application's signature in the package if you embed anything into that. But that's not really a problem because gatekeeper will not verify that once the package is installed. So it will only verify the package signature. I thought that I don't break the app signature, but I do break it. It just gatekeeper doesn't check it. So how we can do it? You grab a package file, you unpack it. There is a utility for that. There is a payload inside it. Basically, the payload contains the app folder on the entire application. You decompress that. You embed your file. You recompress the application with your embedded file. You clean up all the mess you did. You repackage the package, and that's it. But again, it's unsigned, so you need to sign it. But going back to the AppStore preview escalation for Mojave. So it was not properly fixed, as I realized earlier this year. I realized that I should probably do a better verification of the fix itself, because I couldn't drop files to the cron tab folder, and I'm not even sure that it was a fix for my report or if it was an accidental fix for it. But as it turned out, after a discussion with some of my friends, that I can still redirect files to other locations. So like my POC, my example was broken, but that's only because I used the cron job folder. If you redirect file, like to launch daemon or launch agent, or there are plenty of these sensitive locations, it will still work. So I reported it, and I made a second POC. It's called startup. It has the exactly the same approach as the other one. This one is creating launch daemon plist files, and again, people are using it. And I sent the second report. So a video how it is working. Again, we are running as a user. So since we are dropping something to launch daemon, you will really need to reboot the machine to actually get something, because anything you drop there, it will be executed when you boot up next time. So again, I just redirected examples from the application to the launch daemon folder during the installation. And you can see that there is nothing, or there are other stuff, Sentinel-1, for example, but there is nothing else. Then I go and install the application, and if I list it again, you can see that there is a home sample, calendar plist, load plist. These are embedded in the application as examples again. And to show what the contents of that, basically, again, same approach, it will execute a script on the application script, simple shell script. Now, as it will be executed at startup, and we don't have like a session to pop up any GUI, I decided to create a bind shell in Python, and it will invoke the bind shell. This is a bind shell I found somewhere on GitHub, and basically the script will execute this Python bind shell. I will provide it, and the bind shell will listen on this delete port. Again, by default, we don't have anything listening about that one. So I'm rebooting my VM. And my session is restored. And now if I do a netstat for that 31337 port, there is something listening, and I'm still running as normal user, and I'm doing a telnet to that port locally, and I have a bash prompt, and it's running as well. So, but this is now fixed, because this is why I can talk about it. And then, so Apple never considered this as a security issue. There is no CV assigned, but eventually they made an enhancement, and there is a almost final fix. So this is the fix. There are your files that you drop on the application folder, and then the install process comes and wipes everything. But if you want to do it more professionally, this is how it really looks. And in my view, it does fix the entire chain of problems properly this time. So the install comes, and if there is anything you planted there already, even if you did it as root, it will just go and move that folder to the sandbox trash folder, and it will be wiped later on. So once it's deleted, it will take the application and copy it to the application folder. So whatever you dropped there, it will be removed. So you can no longer drop files into the folder. Obviously, you cannot use symlinks, whatever. So I think this is a proper way of fixing it, but there is a way around which I cannot talk about. And I tried on 25 minutes. And yeah, that was all. Thank you.
Any questions?
Great presentation. Just, it's not a question, just an idea. There was a vulnerability that was published a few days ago that allows you to mount NFS from Symlink. So you can combine this exploitation and actually exploit this remotely. Just an idea if you want to take it further.
Thank you.